Fresh killer.
What's up, tribe? Yo, we have an extremely special woman tonight, and her name is Gaetane Garçon. And as you can see in the background, she is a proud representative of the nation of Haiti. And she also has a travel guide, a travel company. What would you call it?
Tour company.
A tour company that she has started. If she looks young, she is young, but she's got entrepreneurial instinct. And so, yeah, super proud of her. I've also gone on a trip with her, which we'll get into in a second. But my name is Roger Porter, and this is Gaetan Garçon, and this is Aqua Black Tribe Chat. Yo!
Hey, let's do this.
Woo, 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 woo. All right, for sure. So off the rip, man, this company that I alluded to before, could you tell the people a little bit about it?
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Gaetan Garçon. As he said, I started Stella Travel 2 years ago, December 2018, because, well, I like to travel and I wanted to open up the doors to more people so they can travel also. I know there's other companies out there, but listen, the market is never saturated. Anyways, so what do? We plan trips about five to 7 nights to different places, and then we take a group of like-minded people that want to visit new places or adventurous. We tend to mostly focus on the African American community, but anyone is welcome, really. It's not a black travel company, it's a travel company at the end of the day. So our trips are mostly focused on the culture and knowing the people that live in the country, but also we try to hit a couple historical places or tourist traps, as they would say, because you don't want to go, for example, to Paris and not see the Eiffel Tower, you know? We also want to see what it's like to live there, meet the people that live there. So that's what we incorporate in our trips.
You did a great job. Obviously, you're very well studied and you cover all the details. When we were in Haiti, it felt like you had a key to the city. Like you had everyone set up, everything set up. But I wanted to get into like some of your travels period. Like what are some places that you've been around the world via independently or with friends?
So I started traveling on my own, meaning not with family as in my parents, when I went to study abroad my junior year of college. So I spent my whole junior year of college outside of the US. So I spent the fall semester in Spain, in south of Spain. So that was my first, I guess you'd say, solo trip. But when I got there, obviously, there were people from the program, so made friends. So it was really fun. And then the plan was to go back to school in the spring. But while I was there, my other friend was, oh, yeah, I'm going to Chile for my second semester. And I was like, ooh, okay. So I started looking into it, and I called my parents, and I'm like, so can I do a second semester abroad? They're like, well, as long as it makes sense economically speaking, then there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it. Also, if it doesn't push back my graduation date. And it didn't. So I spent my second semester in Peru. That was a fun 5 months in Peru. It was great. So I spent my whole junior of college away. So that's when I really, I guess you could say, got the travel bug.
Mm,
Because
okay.
it's because my both my parents, well, not both my parents, my mom travels a lot for work and stuff like that. So I guess you could say I got it from her. And before that, we would travel from Haiti to the US often enough for vacation and all that stuff. And even in Haiti, my parents would make sure we traveled around the country so we know what our country looks like instead of just the place we go to school and home. So that's when I hit Spain and Peru. And while I was in Spain, I did Portugal. That was great. Went to Lisbon, and I saw how much more diverse Lisbon was compared to Spain. Then again, compared to south of Spain, which is where I was. So, and then we also hit up Morocco. We did a whole 7 days or five to 7 days. I don't remember. That was like almost 5 years ago. 5 to 7 days. Spent the night at the Sahara Desert. Went to Marrakesh. Like saw the camels, rode a camel. It was great. We even saw a head of a camel on the market. It was kind of crazy. We were just
Oh,
walking down the street. You see just the head of the camel just sitting there. We're like, oh, you guys eat that? I
uh-huh.
mean, it is an animal at the end of the day. There's no reason why they can't eat it. We eat beef. They don't eat beef in India. So
Right.
So why not, you know? And when I was in Peru, I did travel around Peru a little bit. Went to Cusco, went to Ayacucho. Cusco is where the Machu Picchu is. Ayacucho is just another part. Don't worry about it. But I also hit up Ecuador while I was there, because if you don't know geography much, Ecuador is right on top of Peru. So all I had to do was take a bus and spend a couple of days there. So that was great. But you can see a lot of my travels also includes the Caribbean, because I did a lot of cruises with my friends and families. And I count those as trips, because if I'm spending 8 to 9 hours on an island visiting, checking out new places, talking to local and stuff, I count that as I've been there. I mean, sure, it's not the same as spending 5 months in a place, but I've been there. So do you want to know those countries too?
Maybe, yeah, get into it.
Oh, let's see if I remember. I know we did Mexico. We did a couple islands in Mexico. I don't remember which ones. We did Bahamas. We did Honduras. For Honduras, we did the island of Rotan. We did Belize. We did St. Thomas. Puerto Rico. It's not a country, but on its own, but I guess it is. So Puerto Rico. A couple more, I forgot. Anyways, and then I went to Cuba when Cuba opened up. I think 3 years ago. I believe. I want to say 4 years ago actually. When Cuba opened up, I went with my sister for her graduation present. So both of us, it was a trip that was planned from today to tomorrow. It's like today I said, "Oh, we should go to Cuba for your graduation." Tomorrow she said, "Sure, let's do it." And the next day we looked and then we booked a ticket for 2 weeks in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I didn't travel out of the United States until I was 30, I think. I think maybe even 31. You are not yet 30. I'm not gonna put all your business out there, but you are younger than 30.
Yes.
I know a lot of people have these ideas like, "Ooh, let's go there," but most people don't follow through. Like, what is it that is within you that you're just like, "I'm doing it. I'm going. I'm going. I'm going." So many people want to travel but don't.
To be honest, I think it's because of it's like I had to grow up faster than I needed to.
Ah, how
So
so?
it's like I left home in Haiti in 2010 when I was 14. And it's not like I left home with my parents. I left home by myself with my sister when we moved to the US. So I guess that moves, and then growing up, I don't say growing up alone because we weren't alone. My parents visited often to make sure we were never alone, but like it was just us, growing up together.
Left,
So
you and your sister for
Haiti.
left Haiti for the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And your sister, what caused you all to leave? What caused the both of you to leave?
The earthquake. The earthquake in 2010.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So we had to leave. And then I guess then again, also my parents raised us very independent. So we would go to summer camps on our own when we were younger.
Okay.
And like sleepover summer camps, not just for the day, like sleepover summer camps on our own. So it's like being away from home is not an issue. And then that also made it even more of a not an issue. So it's like this quarantine time is the longest I've been with my parents since I left Haiti at 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so we went to Cuba for like 5 days.
Both
It
your
was
parents,
great.
both your parents are in the States now, obviously.
Oh yes, right now they are. Yes, they're both here. My dad moved when I was not when I was back in 2017.
Okay.
What am I talking about? Yeah, some 5 years ago. What is 5 years ago? 2015? Yeah, 5 years ago, 2015. So that's when my dad moved. My mom goes back and forth between Haiti and the U.S. She's like, I'm too old to move to a new country now. So she goes back and forth. So Cuba was great. I'm glad we got a chance to do it. I mean, it's not closed right now, but it's a lot harder, I think, especially because they closed down all the cruises. They closed down many different ways that people used to go. So I'm hoping I can go again. We do soon, and like that. And at that point, do it by myself instead of with a tour company, because we did with a tour company. Let's see. Last year I was in Spain again. I spent almost 7 months in Spain. It was supposed to be a year, but I only got to do 7 months, and was in Barcelona this time.
And this was due to school, right?
Yes, I was there for school, for grad school. I was getting my MBA. And while I was there, what did I visit? I only visited Amsterdam. That's it. I didn't really visit much because I was in school. I wasn't trying to go left and right, left and right too much. I was
Did
trying to just be in Barcelona. No, I didn't. I actually did not. It was the plan, but I never got around to it.
that's why people go to Amsterdam.
Oh wait, and Amsterdam. You know what? I'm thinking in Barcelona because in Barcelona it's also legal. So
Uh,
it's also legal in Barcelona, but Amsterdam, yes, I did. We did it, and then we had a muffin. Yeah, a muffin.
muffin.
Yeah, a
Wait,
weed muffin.
that thing was
That's
hit.
cool. I mean, it hit. I mean, it was the three of us. It was the three of us and three of us. And one of the girls didn't want to do it, so it was just two of us that had to eat it by ourselves and smoke it by ourselves. It was great. We did it, and then we were so tired from walking so much during the day that we just went back to the hotel and passed out. We got hungry though. We got so hungry, and then
That's
we
the
passed out.
thing about edibles. It's just like you're hungry, so you eat more of the edible. Like you get
It's great. It was great. I can't wait to do it again. Because when we went, not eat weed again. I meant like go to Amsterdam again. Because when we went, it was raining. Was just not a great weekend to go. It was raining almost every day and cold. I mean, we got to see places. It was a nice little trip. But I want to go again when it's like summertime. I don't have to worry about the rain and
yeah,
such.
yeah, for sure. So I want to get into the trip that you and I took together with two other people. We were photo
Hmm.
in OCAP. Shout out OCAP. Which is in the north of Haiti. So
Yes.
before we get to that, the name of your name is Gaetane. The name of your company is Stella Travel. Why?
Mhm.
How did you come up with that name?
My middle name is Estelle, and Estelle means star. Stella means star in Latin. And then I had a friend of mine. He used to call me Stella. He was I think him and this other girl was like, oh, that's how you should go. That's what you should go by in Spain if they can't say if they can't say Gaetan. I was like, no, they speak Spanish. They can say my first name. But the nickname Stella stuck around, and then I said, why not?
Okay, for sure. So now that we clear that up, ooh, in the IG, real quick, what's the IG page?
Stella Travel LLC. So it's three L's. LLC.
Stella Travel LLC on Instagram,
Yes. And
right?
on Facebook and on Twitter. No, on Twitter is Stella Travel 1.
Plug it, plug it, plug it. All right, for sure. So the trip,
Okay.
like, I have an affinity for Haiti because I have an affinity for revolutionary culture. I have an affinity for Black culture as well. And I remember the first time, maybe about oh man, 2 or 3 years ago, I was like straight up like, I want to go to Haiti, man. Like, I'm gonna go. And I looked it up online, travel to Haiti. And you know what the first thing that popped up was?
Hmm.
From the United States Travel Advisory?
Don't go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that was
Like
the
we
first
advise you not to go there. I'm
I
like,
was just like, travel. I typed it into Google, travel to Haiti, and it said, don't travel to Haiti. And I'm like, yo, like, how dare you? Like, what? Like, come on now. It can't be like that bad. And I was upset because I know so many great things about it, about, like I said, the revolution um, and about the Citadel, and I knew about all of these things and the music as well. And I felt like my government was trying to keep me from interacting with my people and interacting with a huge part of revolutionary culture. So I became defiant in my head, right? But there's a language barrier. So I was just like, well, yo, I can't just pull up. Like I can't just
like you did for Jamaica.
like I did with Jamaica,
Yeah,
man. But
I remember.
the difference is in Jamaica, there isn't an official language barrier. Now they start speaking at patois in Jamaica, and obviously there's a language barrier because like
Yes.
I felt like I could navigate for Jamaica more thoroughly because I speak the language. Now, when I went to Jamaica, I did face some hardships, but I was able to get through it. Jamaica caters to tourists in a way that it's been spoiled by tourism almost in a way that Haiti has not. So Haiti is pure in that sense, right? So for example, when I was in Jamaica, I could go to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Hmm.
Like, um, I could find places where they cater to American tourists and so on and so forth. When you go to Haiti, like there is no KFC, there is no McDonald's, there is no Walgreens, there is no
No.
those things, and you get a very pure experience like in Haiti. And so what I was alluding to before was that I was on my Instagram. I was on my Instagram one time,
Mm-hmm.
and you would come up. Like it was just like, we're traveling to, hey, I don't know, on my feed is kind of creepy. With all this technology now, all this Big Brother stuff. I don't know if my phone overheard me talking about it. I don't know.
Probably.
But you came into my news feed, and I was just like, oh, this is a blessing, right? Like, and I had a series of questions for you. I don't know if you remember.
I remember. I was like, man, that's a lot of questions. I was like, maybe he's just not coming. I was like, because people always do that. They ask 100 questions, and I answer them all, and then I just never hear from them again. I'm like, okay, whatever.
No, this was God talking. This was God talking. But there was a point. Well, one of the most important questions that I asked was, are you Haitian? Like, are you Haitian? Do you speak the language? You're like, yes and yes. I was born there, was there for several years and all this type of stuff. And then I see how you maybe thought that I was going to bail because I was just like, okay, I'll get back to you. And I think I
And then
waited.
like 2 weeks later, you're like, so I'm gonna book, and I was like, oh, okay.
I was thinking about it nonstop, man. Like I have to get to that island. And so yeah, I linked up and I booked, man, and we went. And I really wanted to go to Citadel. Like
I
that
know.
was top of my list. I heard Wyclef talk about it. I know the history of it and how it's a masterpiece. It's just an um, it's architecture that is unparalleled throughout the world, and it was made by Black people for a Black king. And I felt like, you know, our people, that part of our history is hidden from us, right? That
Mhm.
resistance and sticking to something and creating like our own masterpieces. And I just had to get there. I came down and I almost missed it because
Yes, yes, you did. Because somebody
yo,
doesn't
yo,
know how to fly. I
let's
was
put
like,
it all
what the
out
heck?
there. Let's put it all out there, man. So I spent a few days in Miami. You guys were going to go to Citadel the first day, and I missed the first day, man. I got caught up in Miami, man. Kicking it. I was kicking it in Little Haiti. I almost missed going to Big Haiti. There's only one trip to Cap Haitien from Miami a day. I missed it.
Yeah, yeah,
I had to wait to the
you
next day.
did.
So I got at you. Like, oh, y'all going today? I was like, well, look, I'm gonna
Send
go
me
by
the address. I'll meet you there. I'm like, what? What country
yeah,
does he think he's going to?
yeah. I was like straight up, not knowing. Oh, that would have been, yeah, that would have been. I was gonna figure it out. Like, I don't know how, but I was gonna somehow get to OCAP to Milo. I was gonna do it, but you were just like, you changed the whole thing around to accommodate me, which I deeply appreciate. And we did it. Now, about that day, let's get
It was a
into
great day. I was
it
just
was
talking
a
about.
great
It was a wonderful day.
it was a great day, but all right. So backtrack a little bit. There was unrest in Haiti at that time due to Carnival, right? This was February 22nd and 28th of this year, 2020. And there was unrest due to the Carnival. And correct me if I'm wrong, but people basically felt like the government was spending too much money on this celebration and they were neglecting, like people were.
Population, basically. People are hungry, people are not safe, everything is, it's like they're spending money on the celebration for like, was it 3 days? 3 days. When they could all be spending that money on things that are more important, such as homelessness and hunger and hospitals, like in the hospital, all that stuff. So we're like, nah, you guys are doing too much. Like, it's not happening. And then it was also don't take my word for it, I might be wrong. I think it's like 350-year anniversary of Cap Haitien. So the carnival was supposed to be there, like the official carnival. It's like everybody knew it was going to be a Cap Haitien. It was going to be this great thing, and the town of Cap Haitien was looking forward to it, not because of the celebration only, but because all the business it was going to bring into the town. All the hotels were going to be booked, the restaurants were going to be booked, because people fly from everywhere for the carnival. I mean, not necessarily, I don't know if tourists necessarily do, but like Haitians fly from wherever they are to come to carnival in Haiti. And then at the last minute, they just switched it to Port-au-Prince because, big money talked, and big money said, nah, we have to have it in Port-au-Prince.
But let me press the pause button there.
Yeah.
Bless your soul. There's so many behind the scenes things that I was not privy to, right? And so you're getting all this information last minute because they're changing it last minute, like where it's going to be and how things are going. So what you have to do as a travel guide, as a tour guide, is you have to change everybody's itinerary and all that, right? Because the government is putting things. Now I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, because we're supposed to split time between like Port-au-Prince and El Cap and El Cap is Cap Haitien, by the way. But we're supposed to split time and all that. And you're sending me, like, I was getting things last minute and I didn't know. I was like, what's going on? And so
I felt so bad. I was like, oh, I feel so unprofessional. This country is making my business a mess.
Right, right. Because yeah.
I was like, I love you, Haiti, but what are you doing to me?
Right, which is a whole conversation in and of itself. And so, we'll get into that. But like, so they're changing things, and I'm like, all right, things were kind of, I don't know. I bought a ticket to whatever. I had to change my ticket to the north, to the south, or to Port-au-Prince, Soul Cap, and back and forth, whatever. So whatever. But you didn't know this. So there's unrest, right? I knew that there was going to be unrest. Now, mind you, I said about two years ago when I first went to Haiti, they were just like, they were throwing these things out there, but don't go because there are tires burning and there's this, that, the other. There's political unrest there. So in my mind, I was just like, it can't be worse than the American ghetto, right? Like, of which I'm from. Okay, so that was my mentality. So, and I've never actually expressed this to you, but I was just like, I know it's going to be unrest, right? I come from California. I come from East Oakland, a place where we have things called the sideshow, when people basically do donuts in the middle of the street. And
what's that?
The sideshow is basically where you get into an intersection, and people from the Bay Area congregate in a particular place. Historically, it's almost always been East Oakland, somewhere in East Oakland. And they do donuts in their cars and stuff and do tricks and things like that in their car. And are you looking it up right now?
Yes. Oh, I see what this is. I just didn't know that's what it was called.
Right. So not just that, but it's also a place where, like, I would go to the sideshow. I had a Honda. I didn't have a car that you could do donuts in. But you would go there and you would meet the pretty girls, and the pretty girls would meet us. And it was just like, in LA, they have like Crenshaw when they kind of cruise the strip. The energy in the Bay Area is like so much more. It's just, we just vibrate at a higher frequency. Like, we're just so much more excited and hyphy, as we call it, that we and it's all of that. So that's what the sideshow is.
Yeah.
People have done it on the freeway. People have shut down major intersections due to it. And
it's intense.
Exactly. And also Oakland, with all of its potential and all of its culture and all of our cultural heroes that have come from this town. It's also a particularly violent place, and historically it's been so. And since I can remember, like East Oakland has been known for violence, and so that's the
So you
environment.
respect it.
That's what shaped me, right? So I'm going to Haiti. I'm like, yo, I'm accustomed to this, right? So
Can't be that much more different.
right, right. So when you're changing things last minute, I was like, no, like this is what it is, Like I know how to function. Like I'm not flashy, I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm just be low key. Like I don't want to go out like throw money around or anything like that. But like I just wanted to see it, right? Now, obviously, you made the best call. You being Haitian, you being plugged into several people that are on the island and so on and so forth. But all of that was going on at the time of us arriving, right? We knew what the newspaper reported. We didn't know the extent of it. So fast forward to our trip to Milo, where Citadel is. And I want to ask you, because we go there, things are cool, things are calm on the way. Uh, at some point, we get pulled over, not by the police, but we get we get pulled over
It's not,
by
it's not, it's not, it's not even like a pulled over. It's more like a barricade we can't even go through.
they
It's just gotta stop. It's like, okay,
no,
what's
they
next?
got a rope. These two
Oh, bro.
that like a rope. They held it in front of the car that we were in. You, myself, a driver, and two other women that had come on the trip. And they had masks on. And all I could think about was the sideshow. That's my frame of reference. But they had masks on because it was Carnival, right? So they had.
Yes.
I was like, hold up, this feels a little bit more intense.
And I'm over here like, ugh, not again.
Right? And so they pulled it over. So what words were exchanged? What I don't know what happened and why they let us through, but what happened? I didn't speak. I don't
I
speak.
mean, so they do that often, not just during carnival, but even during regular time. Some guys they would find a road that has a pothole in it, for example,
Right.
and then they would fix it. They would decide they were gonna fix it, and then what they do is they grab the ropes, they grab I guess rocks and whatever, so it looks like they're fixing. They might even do a little something to make it look nicer, and then they just collect money from the drivers, from whoever's driving by, to get money so they can fix the road / put it in their pockets. But during carnival, it's scarier because of the mask, and we're not talking about feathers and colorful purple green masks. No, no, no. We're talking about masks that look like the straight up devil or
Oh.
like monsters. Those are the masks that they're wearing.
Movie Purge, it was something.
Yeah, it was some crazy stuff like that.
That,
And usually you just roll on the window, and if you want to give them some money, you give them some money, let you go. Or if you know how to talk, not pretty, but like if you know how to talk to them, you just be like, oh, just let us go through, like blah blah blah. We'll give you something on the way back because we got to come back eventually, or something like that. And then they just let you through. It's like they can't keep you there. It's like they can't keep you there because it's not like they're not supposed to be there, and there's cars coming left and right. Like they have to let you through eventually. So they just stop you in the hope that you give them money. But if you don't, it's not like they're gonna like pull you out of your car and like shoot you or something like that. It's just gonna. I mean, I'm not saying that hasn't happened. I'm just saying 9 times out of 10 they wouldn't do it. They would just let you through.
okay.
That's basically what happened.
So they just let us through. Like,
Yeah, so then we went.
I was like, we ain't got it. So we went through. That's what went down.
Yeah, the driver was just like, come on, man, just let us through. Like, we'll see you on the way back. All right, what are you doing? Stop this nonsense. Just let us go. He went.
Shout out to you, Gaetane. I looked over at you. I was like, yo, I got tense on some like, are we gonna have to choke him? Are we gonna have to fight? He was just real calm. He was like, it's okay. I was like, oh, okay. So that so that happened. That ended up being a minor setback. But the experience, at Citadel was amazing. Like I appreciated that. It was everything that I wanted it to be. And then we went down the hill to Susui, how you say it?
Palais sans souci.
Stop making fun
It's
of
a
me.
palace.
Right, we went down
Palace.
to the palace.
With the, it's like in English, if I translate English, I think it's palace without worries.
Right. Which was also breathtaking. But let me tell you something that almost brought me to tears was when we went to the cultural center. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when we went to the cultural center, the Milo Cultural Center, that's what it's called, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what you wrote the blog about.
That's what I what? Say it again?
Wrote your blog about, your blog post.
Talk about Roger Porter official, follow me, absolutely. I went there. Now I've never been to the motherland, right? Um, but when I went there, they walked in, and this is you had a key to the whole north of Haiti. You knew everybody, but we went there, and they were expecting us. We were all African Americans, and they were drumming, and I felt, and they welcomed us there, and there was a woman there that worked for the center, and she helped us to wash our hands, and the gentleman that was over the center, he thanked us, and he said, "We know that there's some things going on, there's unrest happening in our country, but you guys came, and we really appreciated that." And then he told us a story of slave ships that came to dock there, and how they would imprison the Portuguese or the people, the white people that had the slave ship, and free the slaves. And that resonated with me, and the whole experience, I just felt very welcome, and I felt very connected, and I felt like my history was not only acknowledged, but we had a certain shared history, and the food that we had was so
It was
good.
good. It was good.
So the food was such that, I mean, I've had people say that basically the meat that we have in the United States is just not fresh and it's trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I've heard
Mm-hmm.
people from multiple countries tell me that. But we had fish, and I ate a lot of it. It was plantains. It was some form of fried fish, a fried
Mm-hmm.
ball. What was it called? What was the fish
Don't ask. All I know is that it was good. We had a lot of it, and
name?
now I want
A
some.
lot. I got I may even got thirds, right? And I kept going back for more. He was like, "It's all good. It's all good. Appreciate you guys being here." We had some form of fritter was in there as well. I remember something.
Yes. And then we had dessert. Mm.
Right, right. So let me just say this. After I ate it, I still felt very light. Like I felt like I could work out or run or do whatever. Like the meat in the United States, it just really sticks on you. It hangs on you. And that's how we become bloated and obese. I didn't see an obese person the whole time that I was in Haiti. The gentleman said, before he brought the food out, he said, they're back there cooking. We don't know what it is because we have been without power for several days. So whatever we catch, that's what we eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought about how people look at Haiti like what is it, third world, developing country, and all of these things, right, that they don't have. But in that moment, I was able to appreciate all of the things that the island does have, and that is, okay, they don't have a refrigerator, but they have access to fresh food and prepare fresh food, not something that is wrapped in plastic at a grocery store. Something
Has been sitting there for who knows how long.
exactly right, that you don't know who put their hands on it, right? But everything was fresh, everything was caught and prepared right there in that moment, and it was so good, and it felt very nourishing and very wholesome, as did that whole experience in the town of Milo. And I just felt really appreciated, and I felt like in love. Like I just love that experience, and I love that city and the entire trip. Now there was that, But then, so I'm high. So we leave and I'm high. And then once we got on the road back, there's more drama, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that? Because I know there was one point where the driver pulled over and he went in the store. He was like, "I'll be right back." And I was like, I felt an amount of anxiety, but I couldn't. I don't speak the language, so I don't know what was going down. So what was going
And
on?
what is, I mean, you have a better memory than I do, to be honest, because you're remembering. I think the reason why you probably remember is that because they're more unusual to you, and more, for me, they're more usual things that happen. So my brain doesn't like
Yeah,
remember specific things of the sort. But what I do remember is after we ate at the cultural center, because that was lunchtime, we went down to the palace, right?
right.
Is that what the order was? Yeah, we went down to the palace, and then it had stopped raining, so we went down to the palace. So while we were at the palace, I always keep my phone on in case somebody calls or texts, or so I stay connected. And then I get a text from my mom. So my mom also lives in Haiti, but she lives in Port-au-Prince, and we were in Cap Haitien. And then she's like, "Are you guys okay?" I'm like, why wouldn't we be okay? I text her, I'm like, "Yeah, we're fine. What's up?" She's, "Oh, everything is a mess in town." I'm like, "Everything is a mess in town? What?" So I called the driver on the phone. I called the driver because he was close by. I'm like, "Can you get more information for me, please, as to what's happening down there?" Because my mom is telling me certain things are crazy. Because I have family in Cap Haitien, so it's not like it's random people telling her what's going on. It's my uncles and her brothers and my cousins that are telling her, "Hey, this is what's happening. Is Gaetane and her guests okay? Are they okay?" So while we're there, I'm learning about all the stuff that are happening. Fires being happening, bridges closing, roads closing, while it's drizzling also. And I'm over here trying to stay as calm as I can so you guys can, enjoy the experience
You did a good job.
and leave without stressing. Because I'm thinking, okay, we're going to be here for a couple hours. By the time we're done here, hopefully things have calmed down. And it did. They did calm down, because if they hadn't calmed down, we would have not been able to make it to the hotel. So there was no reason for me to stress you guys out. So the part you're talking about, is that when we went to exchange the money? No, we didn't do that. We went straight to the hotel from Milo. But was that when we got into town or before we got into town?
Before we got into town, and I think he was trying to check, are the roads okay? Are the roads okay? And he
Probably because there was somebody coming our way, and then he was going going the other way, and I think he was asking information about, hey, is this bridge closed or is that bridge closed? There's only two bridges in Cap Haitien that connect the town to where we were, up in the mountains. So if those two bridges are closed, if those two bridges are, you know, closed, then there's no way for us to make it to the hotel. Literally no way, unless we, like, I don't know, flew over. So I think that's what he was
right.
checking. Because aside from that, that's the only thing I could remember, really.
One of
Sorry for my bad memory.
I was talking, one of the bridges, if I recall correctly, they had set something on fire. They had set debris on fire, and but
Mm-hmm.
one of the bridges were open because they had debris there, and we drove over.
Mm-hmm.
But we were able to get over it, but it was not set on fire or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the one that was set on fire, I mean, the whole bridge wasn't set on fire because the bridge is made of cement, so it's gonna be impossible to set it on fire. But like they put barricades on the bridge on fire so you can't cross, and that's the bridge we took from the airport and to the airport. So that's that bridge.
Right, and so it just really reminded me. So we got back, like everything was good. We got back to the
We
hotel.
got back to the hotel, had dinner there. Like we just went straight to the hotel and stayed there.
We went straight to the hotel, and I when I think about like the situation of like extreme like love and that I experienced that in Milo, and just a feeling of brotherhood, man, and just I just really could have stayed there and chilled there. So that versus kind of like outside where it's very like things are shifting and things could change at any moment. And it just really reminded me, once again, it reminded me of where I'm from. And I wrote that if my neighborhood, my part of town, if Deep East Oakland were an entire country, then it would be Haiti.
Yes, he said close your eyes, then open them, and that's Haiti.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Like that's what it is. Like so much culture, so much pride, and so much love, but then this sense of like precariousness as well. So, Haiti, unlike other countries, man, you go there, it's just like so real and unspoiled. And
Hmm.
yeah, man, ain't nobody gonna cater to you. Like you show respect and you get respect, man. And it was just a lovely experience that I experienced it in a real way because of Stella Travel, because of you.
I was going to ask you, what was your experience? Because I know you just left us behind when we got to Citadel. Because when we get to Citadel, you can walk, but you can also have the option of taking a horse up the hill. So Roger got on his horse before the rest of us did.
Yeah, I
Who
did.
knows why?
I
Who knows
did.
why? But he did.
I know why.
And then instead of waiting for the rest of us to get our horses too, he was just gone. And I was like, all right. I was like, I'm just gonna trust that the guys weren't gonna do anything to him and that he'll make it up the hill. There's only one way up and one way down, so we good.
Such an oversimplification. Not how it went down. That's not how it went down. So if you'll recall going up, yeah, we were all on were they horses or donkeys?
Yeah.
Horses, right?
Donkeys, horses, who knows?
Okay. Animals. We were riding animals up. But we were all spread out. So
Yeah.
we would saddle one and take you down, and then so it was like everything was all spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went up there, it was not raining. It was my first time riding like
No, it wasn't a horse. I know. I heard. I was like, what? So yeah, my first time on a horse. I'm like, your first time on a horse, you're going uphill where the hill is a little wet from the wind rain? Okay.
I was riding that thing like a bike. I was very bad. But anyways, but so when we went, I work out, like I run, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like
know. You told us. I was like, that's why you just, okay.
So on the way back down, they were like, they were trying to get me to get on the horse. I was like, bruh, like it's good. Like,
No, I'm talking about the way up, not the way down, the way up. You got on the horse on the way up.
Of course, I was with the crew. What do you mean? Like,
Okay, I'm done. Let me stop.
Anyways, yeah, man. So, I don't know. I was with my crew, my two other people, man. They were trying to put their bid in for a tip. Everybody was separated. You trying to call?
Yeah.
They were really trying to hustle for tips. God bless them. I did give them a tip. I don't know if it was as much as they wanted, but on the way back, I gave them a pretty solid tip. So whatever. That wasn't up to me how we got separated. But that happened. Whatever. Dope trip. I said all of that to say. If you go with Stella Travel, anywhere.
It'll be as real as it gets.
If you go to Haiti, listen, if you want to go to Haiti, I would recommend you go to Haiti. Don't just try to pull up, but go with someone that knows the culture, language, has a key to the whole country, and that's Stella Travel, that's Gaetane. So she held us down. Everything was safe. It was super real. Now, your business, you're a young entrepreneur, you're doing your thing. We took this trip late February, about 2 weeks after we took the trip, my area was shut down. Like the Bay Area, California was shut down due to COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
We express to the people the ways in which COVID-19 has affected your business, which is a travel business.
Okay, so as you said, the trip ended late February. And during that time, I was in Spain for school at the same time. So I went back to Spain because that's where I was. And I think 2.5 weeks later, 2.5, maybe 3 weeks later, I was packing, leaving my apartment, and headed straight back to the U.S. because Trump was closing down the borders. And I wasn't planning on being stuck in Spain for months and months. But that's how it affected me personally. But from a business standpoint, we had a couple trips planned out already. We had one for Morocco in April, one for Bali in May, which we had to cancel. We had no choice but to cancel it. I could have postponed them, but it was just easier to cancel at that point because we had no idea when. I couldn't just say, oh, let's postpone the Morocco trip from April to June because we don't know if anything's going to be open in June. And clearly, we're in August now and things are still not open. Right. So we had to cancel a couple things. The reason why I say it hasn't affected my business much compared to another business is because of how new my business is. It's only like a year and a half, 2 years old. So I'm not tied up as much as somebody that's had their business for like 5, 6 years. You know? So I mean, that's how I see it.
Were you able to get the government was giving money to small businesses. Were you able to access any of that money?
Yeah, I got a little something. I didn't want to take too much because I don't want to have to pay too much back. But I got a little something. Because I think when they were doing grants, I wasn't really paying attention much to it. So when I went, it was like a loan, but then it's a loan with like a 1% interest rate. So it's practically a grant. So it has a possibility of becoming a grant. So I'm not stressing too much about it yet because you have a whole year before you have to start paying it. What is it called?
Whether or not you have to pay it back, what does that depend on?
It depends on how the money is used and if you use it the way they want you to use it. If you use it for, I think they want you to use it for personnel, like the people you hire, whatever that's not on their list, it could just stay alone. But the interest rate is so low that it's practically free money, and they give you a whole year before the interest starts racking up. But aside from that, that's really the only way it really affected me. But I'm using the pandemic or the time that we're not traveling right now to increase the brand awareness, basically, and market my business and get customers so that when we can travel, once 2021 hits, that we're good. Because I really think that we'll be able to travel against 2021 because one, other countries are open. It's really the US that's shut down from the world. I mean, certain countries are still closed. I'm not saying all the countries. I'm saying most of the world is open. And the US, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was last week, they removed the ban of essential traveling.
Okay.
They removed that ban. So, and by the way I'm looking at it is they want the economy of the world to go back to how it used to be. So eventually, the world's going to open back up. It's just a matter of time. So we have 5 more months? 4 more months before 2021 hits. Now is travel going to be different? For sure. It's definitely going to be different. A lot of companies have to think about how big of a crew they want to bring. Because I know some group trips, they bring like 70 to 80 people, and that's great. But will you still be able to bring 70 to 80 people during the COVID time and while everybody's still trying to social distance and stay, not in a close-knit group? Do I think festivals and of the such is going to come back as quickly as we would like it to? Probably not. For example, Essence Festival next year, it might be some virtual thing instead of how it is usually. Or I'm thinking Rio Carnival. Probably not going to happen. I mean, a lot of people make money there. So if big money talks loud enough, maybe it will happen. Who knows?
I was thinking like, there's a lot of talk about vaccine and the government possibly making a vaccine mandatory in order for people to travel. How do you feel about that, you being in the travel industry?
I've heard of that. I've heard of that mandatory vaccine. How do I feel about it? Do I want to take a vaccine? Me personally, no.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to personally. I mean, if at some point it becomes required and you can't leave your house without it, there's not much I can do about it. But if it becomes an option, then I'd rather not. Okay. I've never taken the flu vaccine, and I'm still I'm good.
Me neither. Let's put that out there. And they was trying really hard to get me to take it before I went to Haiti. I was like, no.
I don't think there's any vaccines required to go into Haiti. I mean, recommended, sure. Required, I don't think there are any. But anyways, back to COVID vaccine. I've heard of the COVID pass. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the COVID pass, where it's like a app, I believe, that has your COVID results that you will need to travel, like a passport kind of thing. I heard of it and I was like, huh, interesting, interesting. I was like, this is becoming more political than health
Right.
because there's way. I mean, it's killing people. It's killing people, all right. I'm not saying it's not killing people. It's killing people left and right. And I'm just happy that my family is okay. I mean, have we lost people? Sure. But my immediate family, I think my mom, my dad, my sister, we're good. So far, so good.
People in your family due to COVID?
My uncle, is he my uncle? I guess he could be. He's my uncle. Sure, it's my uncle. He died a couple of weeks ago. I think his funeral was today, but that was in Florida. I wasn't really close to him, but my dad was very close to him. They grew up together. My mom's side, they've lost a couple of people. You know those like third cousins that you don't really know much about.
Sure.
Yeah, them. So I mean, it sucks. It's sad, but I didn't cry because I didn't know them much. So that's why I say my immediate family's good because nobody that's died around me had made me cry yet. But because I'm thinking there's so many other diseases out there that don't have vaccines for, that this is becoming more politicized than it needs to be.
Very much so. Especially with an election year, so there's that.
Especially with election years close by. But if they make it mandatory and you cannot not travel without it, then it is what it is. No, go ahead.
Let me ask you this, like, what would it take for you specifically to get back out there, travel, and take a group on a plane? Just till 2021 happens, and just like, bam, like you're off?
If a group wants to go on a plane right now.
You said what?
If a group wants to go on a plane right now to some place that's open, I'm not against it because I'm like, traveling is a personal choice. If you want to,
for you to lead the group,
for me to lead the group, I should not. I wouldn't. I would be more comfortable to do it if I didn't live with people. If I lived by myself.
Okay. So like, but what would it take for you to get back into leading tours in various countries? Like, what is it going to take for you to resume your role as a travel guide leader? Because I know you said some things about 2021, but like, what's going on?
I mean, I said 2021 because most people right now are not looking to travel. Everybody's looking to stay home, and if they are traveling, they're mostly traveling domestically. They're not really doing. Nobody's joining group trips right now because nobody wants to be in a group for fear of contracting the virus. So if you say, what would it take for me to lead the group myself? For enough people to book and everybody to take a COVID test before we get there. That I'm sure we're all negative, so we can have a good time. That's about it, really. And then obviously take the precautions necessary. If the place tells you to wear a mask, period. Don't try to fight it. If you're gonna be that person that's gonna fight the establishment that tells you if you need to come in here wear a mask, don't come.
You know, it's a trip. I didn't take the flu vaccine to go to Haiti. But one thing I did take was the malaria pill, which is hydrochlor.
Oh, that thing, the one that they said was against
hydroxychloroquine. Yeah, man, I took that and not knowing that it would be at the center of this debate on whether or not it's good for COVID or not. But I took the whole cycle, and I'm hoping that it's helping me in some capacity.
I've never taken it, but then again, I'm not sure if I've had that vaccine from when I was a little girl because I was born in Haiti, so they probably did give me the vaccine. But
not a vaccine, they're pills.
I mean, do they have a malaria vaccine in general?
I think they had a yellow fever vaccine, but like they were out of it at the time. And so the malaria, the hydrochloroquine is a series of pills that you take.
A series of pills, not even just one.
It's one pill, but you take it, oh my God, it's like 2 a week at the same time every week for like 4 weeks or something like that.
It's a whole prep. You can't take a trip like this if you
So you take it the week before you go, you take it while you're there, and then you take it the week after you come home.
Yeah, but like I don't think I've never done that.
Mhm.
But though I think my only experience with malaria really of it affecting me, not physically, more like emotionally, is
Mhm.
because is I went to donate blood at my school. That was when I was in college.
Yeah.
I think it was my sophomore year, and I went to donate blood. And they're like, "Oh, have you traveled anywhere the past couple months?" And I think it was fall semester.
Mhm.
And at the time, I used to go home to Haiti every summer because I was an international student. That's where my parents are. If I'm not in school, what am I doing in the US? So I would go home. So I'd be
Mhm.
like, yeah, I did travel. Like, oh, where to? I'm like, Haiti. Oh, you can't get blood. I'm like, why?
Oh, that's
I was
whack.
like, I'm perfectly healthy. I said, oh no, because of a chance of malaria. I'm like, so a chance of malaria in my blood because I was in Haiti 4 months ago.
Right.
Like, yeah, it has to be a minimum of 6 months. So ever since that day, I never tried giving blood anymore because I'm not saying I'm always in Haiti, but like I go often enough that the 6 months never happen. So that's when I stopped trying to give blood.
Oh,
Unless I'm in Haiti, like I've given blood in Haiti there, but like outside from Haiti, then I just don't bother anymore because they're gonna ask me, "Where have you been? Have you been to Haiti?" And I'm gonna say yes. Then they're gonna say can't, so I just don't bother.
that's
What's the
whack.
point?
Man, that's whack, man. We gotta put those
Right? That's what I said.
6 months, man. That's super lame. Is malaria?
Yeah, it's not like they didn't test them. It's like they gave they the whole like checkup before you go give the blood, the whole prick to see if your blood is good. And they ask you the questions. I'm like, so I should have just lied. I was like, no, it's not good to lie because what if my blood had something that could have hurt somebody else, you
They
know?
screen the blood. They screen the blood after they get it. So oh, that's kind of whack.
I just said, you know what, Greg, I don't like needles anyways.
Yeah. I for sure.
Anyways.
Like so you being a young entrepreneur, like what advice do you give for young entrepreneurs that are up against this COVID wall at this time and maybe feeling depressed or despair as they want to give up? What would you
Uh if you haven't started a business yet, I would say try to start a business that's I don't say revolved around this, but that you know is gonna survive this.
okay.
You know, this whole COVID thing. And don't give up. It's hard. The first couple of years are hard. I mean, I'm in my first couple of years and I can tell you it's hard. But if you just keep grinding and eventually it's gonna pay off. It's gonna be worth it.
Okay.
At least it better be.
You're talking to yourself, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yes,
Ah,
I am.
so I think you spoke to this before, but what's next, man? What's next for Stella Travel? I know you got some things in 2021. You're trying to get back in the air.
As
Uh,
soon as possible, yes.
passport stamped again. What specific trips do you have, if not planned, do you have in your mind of where you would like?
Um so as I mentioned before, our trips are usually like 5 to 7 days. So I'm looking to probably do trips that are shorter. I guess my market is mostly in the US, so places that are closer to the US.
Okay.
So like, for the people that don't want to, leave home for so long or that don't have that many days off or that don't want to go too far. But the bigger plan is, and that for that one, I'm thinking I'm gonna take some time because I want to see how travel is going to see if we should host more things domestically speaking
Okay.
because the U.S. is 50 states. There's plenty to see.
True.
Plenty to see, plenty to do,
Mhm.
and not enough of us travel within the US. We're
Okay.
more excited to go abroad than here.
I would love to see Stella Travel go to Santa Fe, New Mexico, um, Arizona, at Big Bend, the Southwest. I want to say this: you fly a plane, that's fine. But if you could fly a plane, I'm sorry, not fly a plane. You can catch a flight from where you are on the East Coast
I
down to
think
the.
like road trip.
That's what I'm saying. Drive through.
You
Drive
just when you were like, yeah, South
this.
Dakota, and I'm like, I should do a road trip.
It's so gorgeous. Oh my goodness! Like and from the clay, from the red clay to the canyons, to the sky.
Stop putting ideas in my head. Thank you very much.
Stella Travel Southwest Voyage. All right. So we're gonna wrap this thing up. But first, once again, we gotta get that plug in. Where can people
Mm.
subscribe, follow you, check you out, all the things? Go.
Go on Google, type in Stella Travel LLC, and it will all show up. My email, not my email, my website, our Instagram, our Twitter. So that's an easy way for you to do it. Google Stella Travel LLC, and then we're there.
Man, that's what's up. I appreciate you so much. That time. I
appreciate you for doing this. What is it? Awkward
Black Tribe.
Awkward Black Tribe.
Yeah.
I am very awkward, so it worked out.
That's why you're the first person I reached out to. For sure, man. Tribe, that's what it is. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please follow Gaetane. Follow Stella Travel, man. 2021 is going down. It's going to be a big hit year for her. Hopefully, it'll be a big year for you as well, man. I'm Roger Porter signing off. Peace and love. Yo, I'm back, man. I'm back. I'm out here. I'm in Miami, man. Back in the States. This dude in customs has so many questions about me visiting Haiti. Well, why were you there? Were you there for a church mission? Why'd you choose Haiti? Because I'm black, bitch.